Live from Moorpark, it's Butterworth Tonight, starring Gary Butterworth. And now here he is, the star of the show, and a guy that sounds a lot like me, Gary Butterworth. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Great to be here again tonight on Butterworth Tonight. We've got a very special show for you tonight. I've got a guest that's going to occupy this chair over here in a couple of minutes. He is amazing. He will blow your mind. So happy to be here. Unfortunately, as you well know, my wife couldn't join us tonight. That's right, Mrs. Butterworth on furlough temporarily, so that's the way that goes. Tonight's show is dedicated to a special number. That's right, the number is 70. Yes, 70. I never thought I could count that high. Stop counting at 39, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much, Jack Benny. Now, here he is. Let's bring him out without further ado. The man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Dennis Moore. What's that? Is this thing working? He what? He couldn't make it. Well, where is he? Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Mr. Moore apparently is on the golf course. I understand that. Unfortunately, we have a show to do, so as we've always said before, the show must go on. So let's go ahead and proceed along without Mr. Moore. That's sometimes just the way things go. So let me go ahead now and take a look at my rehearsed ad-libs here. Beginning with, I first met Mr. Moore over here in 1975. Yes, that's right. I remember it very, very well. It was the fall semester, 1975, late August, as I recall. Dennis and I were in different wings of a dormitory known as El Conquistador, otherwise known as El Conch. He was a right-winger, and I was on the left side of the elevators, and of course, Dennis was always right, all joking aside. We had a really wonderful start, and I'll get into that in just a second, but my producer said that we need to talk about a sponsor here real quick. I almost forgot. And that is, folks, what do you think of the haircut, huh? You like this? Yeah? It's the special quarantine look. Got it at the 99-cent store on the way over here. Thank you so much. Be sure to patronize our sponsors. So what we were saying at Alconch is Dennis and I have always had a really interesting relationship. I love the guy. I really do. I've always been very, very close to Dennis. I've always enjoyed his company very much, and yet we're very opposite. As you can tell, I like to show up and, well, anyway. So Dennis was into Coors, I was into Lowenbrow, he was a Cowboys fan, I was a Rams fan when we first met. He was conservative, I was liberal, but we did converge on one thing, and that is, that's right, both of us, San Diego State Aztecs to the heart. And the way we really got to know one another in the dorm was we started playing volleyball together. For some reason, I had played tennis all the way through high school and a year of college. I was kind of getting tired of playing tennis. And so I got into volleyball. And thankfully, Dennis, and if he was here right now, in fact, that chair is actually going to start blushing any moment now. I would tell you that Dennis is quite the athlete. He can pretty much pick up any sport he wants, and he's pretty darn good at it. Even if it happens to be a sport that you're supposed to be an expert in, he'll give you a run for his money. So Dennis had played a little bit of volleyball. I had too, and we started playing on Saturday mornings. I remember very well going down to the cafeteria there at El Conquistador and showing our little, whatever that little badge thing is, and we'd have our breakfast there. And there's a whole table of us. The late, great Tucker Weaver was certainly one of them, and Janet Cohen. I'm trying to remember all the other folks that would join us for volleyball down there. I think Warren, my roommate Warren Grant, also came out, and we had a lot of fun down there. It was really just for fun, but we got into it, and so we always kind of converged on becoming one with the ball. And I had a volleyball here earlier. I seem to have misplaced it, but that's the way it goes. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. And so I do remember very well playing on a sand court on Saturdays, and then we'd always go out for Perry's Pizza afterwards. That just became a kind of a staple for us. Now, according to my rehearsed ad-libs here, I was also going to mention something about the football games. That's right, San Diego State Aztecs. And we go to a place that is no longer called Jack Murphy Stadium. We used to call it the Murph. But it went through Qualcomm, and I don't know what they call it now. The Chargers don't even play there anymore, but our Aztecs still play there. And now I know that some of Dennis's grandchildren could potentially be in the room right now where this is being played. So I'm not going to go into all the details here, but I will say that we had an awful lot of fun at those football games, tailgating, and Dennis was always, of course, the master of making sure we had all the right eats and libations and what have you. I guess I'll just cut to the core. I don't want to be too graphic here, but let's just say that we enjoyed ourselves so much at those football games that on those Saturday nights, we had to always check the paper the next morning to find out which team won. And that's not too much of an exaggeration. I also recall the slideshows we had at El Conch. Oh my goodness, they were so much fun. And why? Because, as I recall, I was the slideshow guy. Typically it was me kind of showing off all my pictures. We had the Club de Pesca from San Felipe. That was quite a real kind of get-together. We all got to kind of know each other down there in Mexico. And Dennis, if you were here, you probably would assent to this. And that it was the first time I recall ever seeing the sun rise over the ocean waters. It felt like it was rising in the west, so that was pretty cool, just because of the layout of the geography and all that. And I do remember street vendor tacos coming out of the Miramar bar. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I remember that. So anyway, great times down there. And then we had, of course, the Heatherwood months. I say Heatherwood months because... oh my goodness. Now, if he was here, he'd probably deny it, but I would say that Dennis was really running strong at Heatherwood with all of us. We had a lot of fun there, good times. And as I recall, he basically he bailed out in May to go to Europe. So that was kind of the quick exit for him. But we did have a lot of fun there. I made a quick exit too. In fact, my entire apartment made a quick exit because, unfortunately, I hope my son never gets a chance to see this video, but I think we are recording this for posterity, aren't we? Check with my producer over here. We were so loud there. When I say loud, who else can I throw under the bus? Let's see, there was Warren Grand, Kevin Perot, and Bob Yokoi. I don't think Bob was that loud. In fact, I don't even think Bob was there half the time, but that's another story altogether for another time. Anyway, we had a lot of fun, and we were kicked out of that place right before finals. I do remember that very, very well. Now, there was a short 3-decade interlude between leaving Heatherwood and then getting together much later. But there are a few things that happened in the meantime. In the meantime, well, one of them, of course, was da-da-da-da-da-da. That's right. I don't know how I was able to find this, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the diploma, the pigskin, not the pigskin, the sheepskin. Sorry, I get my animals all mixed up. From way back in the day, 1978. That's right. Wilfred is the middle name, I know. Can't believe it. So in between all of that, so we're still Aztec fans all the way, of course, but Dennis and his lovely wife, Kim, were married and spent a little bit of time in San Gabriel, while I did my little radio stint. Hello there, this is Gary Butterworth at KACI up in Oregon. So we did that for a while, and then Dennis and Kim really kind of settled in a beautiful area of Ventura County, and they actually came here and resided long before I did. And so I've got my Ventura Strong hat on right here, and they settled on Wood Ranch. Spent a lot of good years there at Wood Ranch. Saw their beautiful daughter Candace grow up. In fact, I remember being very well. Gosh, I have a feeling I'm going to get the hook here any minute. This video is probably going on too long, but I remember very well, in those days, those of you that are under 40, we used to actually write letters. That's right, we would take like a writing utensil and we would get like a piece of this parchment here, and we'd actually write a letter. And I remember when Dennis was writing me about how excited he was at the birth of his daughter. And her name was Candace, and I'll never forget, I had to learn how to spell her name because it's spelled with an A and not an I. I have a very close friend that I've known from my radio days in Hollywood long time ago. Still good friends with him, and his wife is Candace as well, but she spells her name with an I, so I always had trouble remembering those names. So I went up to Oregon where it was very, very cold for a few years. And then, of course, Dennis, being the good conservative Republican that he is, always made sure that he had his red, white, and blue on. Of course, we just celebrated 4th of July the other day. And then we're speeding ahead a little bit. You can always find Dennis where he is right now, apparently, on the golf course. Even though, if I can find it, there it is. He could still give me a run for my money on the tennis court. Yes, he's that good of an athlete, ladies and gentlemen, that don't know that already. Then in between all of that, we had the Central Coast years where yours truly became a television weathercaster. I've really got a great hair for radio, I know, but we became a television weathercaster, and in between all of that, Bakersfield and also the Monterey Bay area. I spent some time in Salinas, nearly 5 years. I do remember Dennis coming up, visiting us up there. He was running marathons in those days. Like I said, the guy can do anything. He puts us all to shame. And so I remember very well, this is from the Salinas Air Show. Dennis came up one weekend and we got up at something crazy like 4 in the morning before the birds were up. It was freezing. And I dropped him off at the race course there in Monterey. He ran his marathon, comes back. And I remember I think we watched a finals basketball game of Michael Jordan or something in the afternoon after that. Wolfed down a pizza and an adult beverage or two, and he was fine. He drove home, and again, Dennis is quite the survivor. So we're going to fast forward a little bit here because I do want to mention that just a few years ago, when Tammy and I were celebrating one of our wedding anniversaries, I believe it was our 25th, thankfully, Mrs. Butterworth is on furlough, so she can't be here to criticize me, but I can tell you that Dennis and his lovely wife, Kim, and me and my lovely wife, Mrs. Butterworth, Tammy, we took an Alaskan cruise together to celebrate that anniversary. Very, very wonderful vacation, celebration of anniversary. We'll not forget that week soon. That was a wonderful time we had. Then we fast forward to we're nearly at the close, and I almost forgot, oh my goodness. Whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, you have to tell me, we have to make an agreement here. Please, I hope that you will not tell my governor that I've gone through an entire Butterworth tonight without wearing, without wearing my, my mask here. And so I hope we can have our little pledge just between the two of us here that I'm going to go through almost an entire show without wearing that. Thank you very much, Governor, for giving me a break there. Well, as we get towards the end, they're starting to applaud over here in the kitchen. What do you know? Let's go now down to the tropics. I've been looking for a good excuse to take a look at the Havana Club. I've got a very close friend at work who actually took a vacation down to Cuba a couple of years ago, and he could still go down there. And I am going to, it's a little bit early here to break open the Cuban rum, but I'm going to just pledge right now that because I know Dennis loves his cigars, so the next time Dennis and I get together, he can bring a couple cigars, I'll bring a couple of these little beautiful Cuban rum samplers, and we'll have a good old time. So, my friend, happy 70. We've had some good times together, and I no doubt know that we're going to have a few more together as well. So happy birthday, my friend. That's it. It's Butterworth tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. You keep being all that you can be, Dennis, and I'll keep being me. Good night, everybody. See you later.